There's something that Antarctica has been hiding from us all this time, which we never knew about. Researchers and archaeologists have largely shied away from the ice-covered continent due to its vast sheets of ice, which can often impede discoveries. However, this same ice seems to be what has preserved an entire advanced civilization for thousands of years until it was discovered by scientists recently. What kind of advanced civilization was discovered, and what did scientists learn about them? Join us as we explore this sudden discovery of an advanced civilization hidden in Antarctica. The possibility of advanced civilizations living in our world has always been debated, with the proof of unimaginable structures found by scientists and archaeologists. These are constructions like pyramids and huge temples, big enough to have been constructed by giants. Monuments like this have always been fascinating due to how they are built and how such an edifice was constructed with no power machines that helps today's construction workers in their activities. For you to know how grand these buildings are, thousands of years after they were built, our modern world had to name not one, but two of these pyramids as part of the world's 7 wonders. Although most pyramids are known in Egypt and Mexico, there are more pyramids worldwide. This includes the one recently discovered in Antarctica. It seems strange that an icy continent like Antarctica has a pyramid still. With what has been recently discovered, there is a huge load we haven't uncovered completely about Earth's entire history. Antarctica is currently known as a region covered in ice, but did you know that this continent was ice-free? Yes. Antarctica was more like the plain lands, which had people settling and living in regions. Suddenly, the Ice Age period came forth, and that left the continent frozen for millions of years to date. But before it was frozen, people were aware of Antarctica. It was even named on maps that dates as far back as 1513. However, one tiny detail that complicates Antarctica's discovery is it's not the period documented in the history of Antarctic explorer. Could this be how the ancient civilization Antarctica hid from the world? According to the history of Antarctica explorers, Antarctica was sighted for the first time in January 1820. That was what we believed until a German theologian named Gustav Deismann found an ancient map in 1929. Gustav was working the Topkapi Palace Library in Istanbul when he discovered a gazelle skin parchment among a stack of discarded items. This gazelle skin parchment was a map from 1513 drawn by a Turkish cartographer named Hacı Armed Muhyiddin Piri, also known as Piri Reis. This man served in the Turkish Navy, where he was an Ottoman admiral, but he had a passion for cartography. Although only 1/3 of the map survives, it was inspected and treated specially because the Piri Reis map depicts the western coasts of North Africa, Brazil, and Europe with immaculate accuracy. In fact, several Atlantic islands like the Canary and Azores Islands can also be seen in the map, including the mythical island Antilla and probably Japan. However, this is not even the mystery. The mystery lies in Howard Continent, said to be discovered in January 1820, is drawn on a map that dates back to 1513. Based on the data recorded from history, Antarctica was discovered in the last week of January by Thaddeus von Bellinghausen, who reported the incident by noting that he saw an ice shore of extreme height while he was on a Russian expedition to the Antarctic. Before this advanced civilization was discovered, there had been rumors going around about a hidden city in the region of Antarctica. However, not everyone paid attention to it, but conspiracy theorists never gave up on their discoveries. They were even backed by scientists who noted that the freezing continent of Antarctica houses the legendary lost city of Atlantis. Another scientific theory was also called by scientists, where they came forth with a theory named crustal displacement. This scientific theory supports the 1513 map about Antarctica being ice-free at a point in time. The scientists' theory even took it a notch higher, as they stated that not only was Antarctica ice-free, but it was also home to an ancient civilization. The theory suggested further that movements in the Earth's crust signified that huge parts of Antarctica were ice-free 12,000 years ago, and people could have lived. This theory, together with Perry Race's map, explains how a society could have existed in prehistory before coming to an end with the last ice age, which froze the continent. So, this could have been the city of Atlantis, which is known as a mythical city, founded by people who were half god and half human. The city of Atlantis was initially talked about by the Greek philosopher Plato in 360 BC. The Plato, to talk about this, then what are the odds of it not being correct? After all, the Perry Race's map confirms it, and we are not only building a point on an accurate map that dates as far back as 1513, but even the National Aeronautics and Space Administration confirmed the signs of an advanced civilization present in Antarctica. These are traces of a human settlement found underneath the Antarctic ice, and they were taken with remote sensing photography for NASA's Operation Icebridge mission to Antarctica. And now, aside from NASA's Discovery images from Google Earth showed a pyramid poking out of the ice, and that was proof that humanity once lived in the area and even constructed a man-made structure. At one point, scientists believed that the United States government was already aware of this discovery, was trying to hide it from the public. Archaeologist Jonathan Gray claimed that US government is trying to stop the video from being broadcast because it reveals there is a massive archaeological dig underway 2 miles beneath the ice. But while these discoveries and the theories about this pyramid in Antarctica made rounds over the internet, not everyone believed the story. Other people kept proving their theory that an ancient civilization was responsible for the pyramidal structure. A set of individuals even included the possibility of aliens being involved in these constructions, because how is such a huge edifice built? However, a simpler explanation points to a far more mundane cause of this pyramid-looking structure. Using Occam's razor, some scientists propose that the steep pyramid-like sides are probably the work of hundreds of millions of years of erosion. This is just a mountain that looks like a pyramid. Eric Rignaut, a professor of Earth Systems Science at the University of California, said, "Pyramid shapes are not impossible. Several peaks partially look like pyramids, but they only have 1 to 2 faces like that, rarely 4. The Parameter Mountain is one of the large peaks that make up Antarctica's Ellsworth Mountains. It was discovered by American aviator Lincoln Ellsworth, according to a 2007 research paper published by the US Geological Survey. Specifically, this mountain is located in the southern part of the Ellsworth Mountains in an area called Heritage Range. This region is known for its incredible fossils, including those of Cambrian period trilobites from over 500 million years ago. Although the mountain isn't that tall by planetary standard, a little less than 1/5 the height of Denali, the tallest mountain in North America, regardless, it's a one-of-a-kind parameter shape sets it apart. The sophisticated and complex ancient civilizations will always be a huge topic of debate in the world of archaeology, because while we explore the buildings left behind by the civilizations, we still don't seem to uncover all the truth about how they were built and who built them. However, do you think advanced civilizations were one on the face of the Earth, or are these buildings just a result of regular man-made construction? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.